event, the comrades of Mount Kenya University, led by the cabinet that was here, my very good friends, whom we serve together in various areas, and all the other invited guests. Good morning. Comrades, power. Siku hizi ni kama power imekuwa powerless. Comrades akuwa mkeni kiasi tuone. Comrades. Time yetu power ilikuwa power. Hii unasema ni powerless. Tulikuwa tunafanya hivi. Hebu tu rehearse kiasi tuone. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Nimekubaliana na president wa Mount Kenya. Ni kama asubuhi. Hakuna namna. Ni kama mlitokea tu mkakuja event. Nakubaliana na president wenu. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Sasa tuketi. I want to recognize, I have seen there are very many colleagues of mine in the public service and elsewhere, starting with my brother, Bwana Ndindi, who is a very good brother of mine, and also my other good brother, Mheshimiwa Maina, Karofia, Dede, our EAC MP from Iala. Tuko na Mheshimiwa Kamodho, pia ni chairman wetu. Tuko na Charles Karondo, chairman wa Adi Water Services Board. Nimeona timu wako hapa na the entire radical team. Nimefurahi sana kuwa hapa siku ya leo. Na kama sitataja jina, including our CES, I've seen Bwana Amos Mogo is around, and all the others. If I don't recognize you personally by name, because sababu ya wakati, but all of us here deserve to be recognized even by name. I want to be very brief and compact. Compact meaning, I may say so many things within a very short time. And the reason for doing this is because many times when we go to speak at a place like this one, we are not homogeneous. We are heterogeneous, meaning our interests are different. And the more the reason, even the program of this event, we have people from different backgrounds. So the reason for speaking many things which are not necessarily coherent or cutting from each other is so that we speak to as many people as possible. Maybe one person will capture one sentence which captures their interest, the other one, and therefore you may forgive me if the first point has no relationship to the second, or even the subtopic does not relate to the topic, because we want to talk to as many people as possible by being diverse. Definitely, you have seen my name is Nyoro from Karu constituency, and I'm glad also to be serving as the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee in the National Assembly. And in Karu, as part of the introduction, I am very glad about the kind of work we have done. And it is important at such kind of places where we have people who are likely to become MPs very soon. And to ascend into leadership, that we say a few things about what we are doing because it is important. Karu is one of the largest constituencies in Kenya, in terms of, especially a rural constituency, in terms of the landmass and population, the number of institutions, especially learning institutions, and also voters. And I am glad because we have been able to do things that are already changing, not just Karu, but also in other areas that are represented by my friends who are my colleagues in Parliament. One, and I say so because looking at the faces here, I am able to see there are some people from Karu here who can bear me witness the kind of work we have done, especially in the education front. We have around 120 or thereabout public primary schools. We have transformed all of them. All of them are tiled, all the classes in our primary schools. We also have a program called Masomobora. Before you transition to Mount Kenya, you are from a high school. And if you never got a chance to go to that high school, highly likely you will not be seated here. And that has also been one of the areas that we consider when we are elevating education. And in that respect, Karu has around 61 day schools with 15,000 learners. All of them through a program we call Masomobora. In terms of school fees, they pay only 1,000 per term. The rest of the money, we are able to work out a formula using NGCDF and using backward integration and backward aggregation, so that you purchase the purchases together when it comes to foodstuff, and therefore we buy in when they are cheaper, because we take advantage of the quantity discount, and also in terms of timing of when we pay, because we pay almost immediately, we are able to cut a lot of cost. And in that respect, we transfer all those advantages to our parents by only paying 1,000. And in that also, our learners eat in school for 6 days a week, including Saturday, and every last Friday of the month, they actually take chapati in all our primary, in all our there is one day I went to Cape Town, and then I went to London in the course of work. And when I was just walking around, I saw a very beautiful institution. Going closer, I was surprised to see the school was written that it is a Karu school, a municipal school, basically a Karu school, like our normal day schools. So I took a photo. When I came back home, I called our staff, that is the Karu staff, and nikawaonyesha hiyo picture. And I told them that we are going to transform our primary schools, not in the standards of what we have in Kenya, but in the standards of London and Cape Town. And I am glad we have already piloted with 10 institutions. You have seen them on social media, where we have cabroed our institutions, we have landscaped, we plant palms, exotic trees. People would ask, why are you doing all those things? We do them because we have seen empirically that what we do in terms of infrastructure also becomes sticky in the mind, and therefore even the mind becomes transformed in terms of confidence, performance, and I'm glad that is happening already. I agree with those people who have talked about Kiadutu. My father used to live here in Kiadutu, and of course, most of us were in the village. That is my siblings. But of course we could come to Kiadutu over holiday. My father was a carpenter here in Bika. In fact, one of the other areas I know so much is Bika, because I have more relatives in Bika than actually in Murang'a. My father used to live here in Kiadutu. I could go to his house. I think the Kiadutu of now is a bit more modern. The Kiadutu of then, I could visit my father. When I'm inside the house, I could see everything happening outside. Na sio kioo. Kujitazia hapo ni nini ilikuwa. Then he had a bicycle. So because he was a carpenter, alikuwa anaikiwa kazi, ananibeba hapo nyuma, tunapiga round, tunaenda, tunafanya kazi. And in fact, when I was doing my KCPE, the mind of my father was already made that I'm joining him in carpentry. He got surprised when I got some marks which necessitated me to be admitted to a good school, admission in terms of a letter. So when my result slip came, ya KCPE, I had never seen my father more proud. Akisema, I have always told you, hii ni kijana yangu, my son. And From there, of course, the letter came. I didn't go to that school, I went to a different one. But I don't want to go to that line of motivation, of speaking. And I also don't want to go to the line of, you know, the things we read. I started with a name, now I'm a billionaire. I don't want that kind of things. I want to be a bit, to be more practical. Hapa, kwenye Mount Kenya iko, if you walk, ufike pale Lauda, as you go towards huko chini, kama unaenda just the main road towards Makokeni, you see there are tall buildings lining up just in front of Moi Gardens. I hope it is still called that way even today. That place used to be called Mukireti. There were now tall buildings. All those buildings are new. So me, I used to sell mutuba there over holiday time in high school. So my sister used to live here, and I have a Biafra. And over holiday I could come, because my father aliaga nikiwa from one. So by that time I had to maneuver what to do. And being the only son, I had to figure out how to survive. So nilikuwa nakuja na anaenda Gikoba na nunua mtumba, mimi nakuja hapo, nasema ni 10 ni baba. That is way of supplementing my school fees. And of course, when I was a comrade, two things happened. By the way, I'm already in the speech. Don't wait for another technical speech, comrades. So, when I was in KU, najaribu kukatakata vitu mingi. When I joined from my first year in KU, nilipata my first help. When I got my first help, nikaona kuna vile nilikuwa najipanga kama comrade. Me am those kind of fellows. Unaona wale mahadiko village men, village young men. Yaani vile unaonaga tukipiga siasa haushtuki, ni vivyo tu tuko. Ni vile tu tulikuwa brought up. Na basi leo kiadutu alafu kwa mtu hivi. So, when niliingia KU, that is the point I'm trying to make. Nikajua hapa mimi sasa niko, hii degree ni yangu. Sio ya watu wengine. So ni mimi ningangane vile nitalipa fees. Sasa ni degree yangu, sio ya watu wengine, even my mother. So when I joined my first help, I paid my entire school fees for that first year. Because I had something I was eyeing in the second sem. In my second sem, I decided two things. And that thing, I actually also wrote it in a book that I authored when I was still in campus. Early on, I said this when I was in Tomboya University. Something came to my mind. And maybe because of the poverty na kungangana ile ilikuwa tukigrow up, I had two ambitions which were vague and broad. One, to be wealthy. Two, to be at a place where I make decisions to influence the fortunes of other people. I'm just trying to be modest by saying, being a politician. I have to use a lot of Kiingereza so that you see I am also learning. So, nikajua niko na hizi vitu mbili. So in my second sem, now after using my help yote ya first sem, nikajua naenda kwa hizi ambitions zangu mbili same time. My second sem, our second sem used to come after December holiday, because we used to join in when the year is ending. So first sem inaisha December, then January tunaingia second sem. So my second sem came, I got my help, nikaanza ka hoteli pale KU. Najua mnaenda ka KU. Wata nyima vijana kuna vile naona mnaenda ka KU. Ama ni wale wanaenda ka KU. Lakini naona kuna watu hapa wanaenda ka KU kia. Najua nikiwa hapa naweza kuona hata kwa roho. So, unajua KU. Nikaanza ka hoteli hapo. Hoteli yangu ilikuwa funny. Nikaanza around February. So nikabeba my friend wa Mwere, tukaenda kununua masufuria pale Koba za kupeleka kwa hoteli yangu. Along the way, sisi tulikuwa tunaona Nairobi kila mtu ako red na black. Tukaulizana kwani Nairobi siku hizi iko na uniform. Tumebeba masufuria. Mwere akaniambia tupite Rudhuri Avenue tukasalimie girlfriend yangu. Kwanza nikashtuka, yani jamaa kuna girlfriend. tukaenda kwenda pale Ideological Avenue, tumebeba masufuria. Unajua zile basi zilikuwa za Githurai, zilikuwa zinabebea pale hiyo stage ya KU. Karibu tu pale Ideological Avenue. Tumebeba masufuria, tukaenda pale kwa kasoko. Kwa mbele anasema ni girlfriend. Naona anatuangalia akiendelea tu na kazi yake. Unajua penye kuna mtihani ukutreat na maana ukimaliza saa ngapi? Sema haraka, ukimaliza saa ngapi? Si unajua kuna vile unaendaka mahali kubai kitu. Mtu anataka umalize wewe uende zako. So tumebeba masufuria, tumeenda, tumesalimia mrembo hapo. Naona ni kama hataki story mob. Si tukaenda, tukaikia gari yake hii, tukaenda na masufuria yangu. Wamwona told me later he was dumped. Why? Hii story tunakula tunaulizana ni uniform gani iko Nairobi, kumbe ilikuwa Valentine's. Instead of Wamwere carrying a flower, you are carrying sufuria. And then huyu mrembo akajiuliza, hii mtu hapa ati ananiambia anafanyaga economics KU. Economics gani kwani ni home science wanasoma na sufuria? Mamwele hapo na hapo maneno yake ikaharibika. But then the story is that the hotel ilijaribu kakaakuka. Na aliyekuwa tutu ya comrades. Mtu anakula hapo kwa hoteli yangu. Ananiambia muheshi, sio muheshi, ni ndani ya wewe. Ananiambia wewe Nyoro tupatanie kwa class. Kule kwa hoteli tupatane class. Kwani mjii chakula umekulia class? So hoteli yangu comrades wakakula for free kafilisika. So the state said ikakuwa elections ya university student leaders. I was first year, I tried to be a Congress person. First year, School of Humanities then, because I was doing BA Economics. I was defeated by a third year by 4 votes. Sasa hiyo time nikaona, hapa hizi maambitions zangu ni, maybe I chose the wrong things. Nimejaribu biashara, nimeanguka. And around that biashara time, I remember one of my friends called JMO. Siku moja, hiyo time tumefilisika, nimeanza kama hoteli kameanguka, nimefanya student leadership ikaanguka. So niko tu hapo with nothing, extremely broke. Na mimi nilikuwa nimesema nikiingia uni naenda huko kimwanaume. Hii sipigi simu nyumbani sijui nitumie nini. Hata hiyo time natumiwa na nani in the first place. So nakumbuka time moja my sister Esther akatutembelea KU. Jemo was my best friend hapo KU. So my sister akatembea akakuja na nyama nusu. Nyama, sasa hii tuko broke. Pesa yako yote nimeenda kwa hoteli na kuvai na yote imesabaratika. So when my sister came with a half kilogram of meat, vile alienda tukaulizana na Jemu, sehemu imebakisha siku gapi? Tukafanya tukaona ni gapi. Hii nyama ni pesa gapi? Tukafanya ni pesa gapi? Hii nyama ni sukuma gapi? Tuliuza hiyo nyama. You know, kwa economics kuna priorities, Nilianza kuwa chairman wa budget kitambo. Nikaona sasa hii allocation of resources is not optimal. Ceteris paribus. Mtajiwaje nimesoma watu wako. So tukaona the allocation of resources was not optimal, ceteris paribus. Uza nyama, weka pesa ya kununua sukuma, sehemu isoke. Hiyo time haikunaga maneno ya ati nutrients juu hizi vitu mnasemanga ati balance diet. Bora tupo ijaye tusukume sasa. So I graduated. I was telling my school Karu here. Hi. I graduate. My entire KU life. Ati mzazi anakuja kukutembelea. Kwani hiyo ni high school? Other than my sister, actually only that one because alikuwa you when who came to pass by. Hao wengine tunaonana maneno tukifunga shule. Huko ni ungangani. Hivyo ndivyo mimi nilingangana. So nika graduate. After I graduate, so my parents came for my graduation ceremony. My mother was there, very prayerful. Mnajua maombi ya wazazi naenda straight. Tuheshimu wazazi. Wanangangana sana. So my mother came with other parents. In my, where I come from, every person of your parents' age is your parent. So they came. So we went to eat. By that time, nilikuwa na pesa kidogo, because let me just tell you before I graduate. So second year came. Second year, nikaenda kwa our former MP. Pole, kwanza weka koma hapo kwa graduate. Weka koma nitarudi hapo. So second year came. Nikaona sasa hii biashara nimeng'ang'ana imenishinda. Kama comrade nikajua lazima ni survive. Na jusiendi nilijua nikiingia KU mimi sirudi mashinani ya holiday. Nakaa huku Nairobi ile inaumana. So mimi nikaenda kutafuta internship. So nikaona our former MP called Kenya Kariuki was also likely to vie in the future. Vile comrade mnatupanganga nikaona nitaenda na tu story kwa Kenya. Nimuonyeshe vile mimi ni youth wote wako nyuma yangu. So vile naweza mkoroga. Mimi siko nataka job, niko nataka anichoteka kitu nipate fare, because my uncle had given me a place in Langata na kwa holiday, so I used to commute to town. So I went there. Nikapata Kenya Karaoke committee. I told you I'm speaking fast. So pick whatever you are picking. So nikapata a committee, but you know comrades all the time huwa hatuachi kabahasha ya brown iko na CV. So hiyo time bado nilikuwa na hapo kabahasha ya brown na CV. Na mimi siko nimeenda kuuliza job. Nilikuwa naenda nimwambie Muhesh, you know niko KU. Ukitaka votes za university students, ongea na mimi. Comrades mnajua vile mnafanyanga. So nikaenda pale. Secretary wake akaniangalia, akaniambia mheshimiwa kwa meeting, lakini kama ni kazi wewe hata CV. Nikaianza tu, that's not what taken me there. After a few days I got a call. Mimi naitwa Kenya Karaoke. Hey, kwanza nikashtuka. Uko wapi? Niko Nairobi. When can you come? I said now. So I went. Mheshimiwa Kenya Karaoke was very kind to me. Akaanza kunichapisha story, hata akanieleza that we are related. I was shocked that I could be related to such a big man. So akaniambia uliuliza kazi hapa. So mnakumbuka nimemwambia siku nimeenda kuuliza job. Mimi nilikuwa naenda story ndio mwishowe na maneno ikae namna hiyo. Nikamwambia yes sir. Uliuliza kazi? Yes sir. Uko wapi? University. Utaweza kazi na university? Sana mheshimiwa. Unataka kuanza lini? Saa hii. Mimi nilianza job saa hiyo. The business that nimefanya most, the business that I know more than all the others is stockbroking. That is the genesis of the stockbroking I do up to today. So second step came, nikakumbuka ile dream yangu bado ya kuvai. Saa hiyo niko na pesa, nilikuwa nalipwa 8k per month. Ungeniguza. So mimi nilikuwa na time magari za KU off peak. Economic students mnajua kuna kitu inaitwa elasticity of demand. Ile una choose when to use a mat. Mat ziko na bei ya chini when the elasticity of demand is very high, when people are sensitive to prices. So I used to go to work very early in the morning and come back very late at night. That did me one thing. Because after tulifungua mimi niliendelea na job. So, kwa sababu natoka job very late, juu ya fare ilikuwa imeshuka. So I was usually the last person to leave office. Nataka mshike hiyo point. Kwa sababu nilikuwa natoka town naenda KU. Niko job huko. Stockbroking. Pale corner house. So, because lazima niketegea basi za KU fare ishuke, ikabaki sasa ni mimi wa last kutoka ofisi. Kuna economists, kuna kitu tunaita unintended consequences. It happened to me to my favor. Because I was the last to leave office, the intended consequence was this boy is very hardworking. So when it came to being awarded tukafanya sherehe ya employees of the year, among the 50 employees, I was given 50k for being the employee of the year. Unintended consequences. Usidharau economics. Sasa the same sinavai kuwa student leader. Mimi nikapigania kiti kuwa academic sec. Nikangangana nikiwa second year. My friend nikachaguliwa. Nikakuwa student leader nikiwa second year. Kwani mnakwenda kunipigia makofi za gani? Tulisema hii talk sio serious. Ama ni aje? Ile tunaongea bio serious sio face. Ile tunaongea ni serious. You shika tu maneno hapo. So mimi nika graduate, achana hii ingine yote sasa tuende graduation. Then my mother came with other parents of mine. After eating lunch and they have talked, the chief guest who was the graduate, me, is to talk. I told them, my parents, mimi nataka mkienda home, you pray for me not to get a job. When you go home, pray for me not to get a job. Niliwaambia, nilitamani vitu mbili. Kuna mtu hapa hapendi pesa? Hebu inua mkono mwenye hataki pesa. Kwani nyinyi wote ni watu wa aina gani? Kila mtu, hebu nione mtu akitaka kutajirika hapa. Very good. So I'm not alone. I want the two things. Nataka mshike. Biashara, to be wealthy. One, to be wealthy. Second, to be at a place I can influence decision making. So, wewe comrade uko hapa. You want to be wealthy. You graduate from MKU. You get a job, a very good job of 100,000 per month net. How much money is that per year? How much is it? 1.2 million. How much can you save out of 1.2 million? Tafadhali napata, unasema hivi mkono juu, naweza fanya kitu ukiinua mkono haraka. Naweza fanya kitu pekee. How much can you save? 200,000? 500 per year. Nataka tufanye hii hesabu. Tafadhali tuende pamoja. Umetoka MKU, a job of 1.2 million shillings per year. That is 100K per month. And you already know that getting a 100 job as a fresh graduate, you'll be extremely lucky. So, in a month you can save how much from 100,000? Tusaidia na anybody, ni aje? 20. 20. Wacha niulize, kuna kama can save how much? Yeah? Kama anasema anaweza save 60. Mora anaweza save kafi. Ati hakuna? My friend Omodi, anaweza save kafi? Yeah? Ndio anasema hata haitoshi kwa lifestyle. So, wacha tuchukue 50K. Saving 50K a month in a year. How much is that? 600,000. Getting wealthy is what? The financial ya Kenya watu nitumie. Sitaki kuita watu hapa wanifanyishe hesabu. Mkiwa hapa nifanyisheni. Hapa hivi nikitazama mali wako hapa, kila mtu anataka by 28 years akuwe na Lexus. Ama ni mimi nakosea? Na ikienda chini sana Prado new model. Ama Mercedes. That is the truth. Hakuna mtu ana ambition. Even warembo wako hapa wanataka ile BMW X6. Hiyo kitu ikiwa mtumba ni pesa ngapi? Hiyo gari. Sio ile ya kutoa makaratasi, ile imetoka X Japan X. Prado ni how much? Can we call it 6 million? 6 million Prado. Hapa hivi ukigraduate unataka kukaa mtaa gani Nairobi? Semeni. You know you also prophesy for yourself. Sema tu. Kiapuru hiyo ni tuseme ni it can be Ruda, it can be Ridgeways. How much is the plot there in Ridgeways? Plot. Naweza wasaidia hapa. Ni 30 So hata tusianze hapo, tuanze mtaa hivi kabla ufike hapo. Tuanze mtaa ya 7 million plot. 7 million. Achana kwanza na Kaburu, utasoka tu pia hapo. So hiyo Prado ni ya 6 million. Na hii plot ni 7 million. Hiyo yote ni pesa ngapi? 13 million. Naenda pamoja, hebu kujeni comrade kama wanne haraka. Kujeni wenye wako karibu. Comrades wenyewe. Sio sisi ambao tumekuja comrades. Na kukuwe na mrembo bwana. Hapa nimeona hata cabinet hii kuwe constituted. We must see our ladies also in leadership. Tuwapigie makofi. Nimewaita hapa is description. Hata hawataongea tu ya time. Bro, hebu mpe huyu my friend from Moyale. Burtina Naga. Nageni Badara. Yoya. Amale yoya. Sasa ukigraduate wewe unataka gari gani?
Lexus 7.
Sasa hiyo kitu bwana. Hiyo gari kubwa hivyo. Tuendelee. My brother here. Give her. Ukitaka ukae mtaa gani hii Nairobi by the time you are 30 years old?
Kilimani.
Very good. Amalindi there. Hiyo kana ni mzuri sana hiyo ya jacket. Hiyo kana iko sawa. If you know you know. Dennis, wewe upatie kazi kwa chama. Wewe anaonekana ako royo. Kwa rais wetu. Asante sana. Ungetaka gari gani by the time you are 28? A what? Mercedes Benz. Hata usichukue hiyo iko nyuma, wewe tu Mercedes. Patia my brother here. My brother, ungetaka mtaa gani ukae by the time you are 30 years old? Westlands. Very good. Kwa apartment ama own compound?
Apartment.
Very good. Iko sawa, hata hiyo msifikirie ni hivi. Patia huyu tio suti ziko tarehe chini aseme kitu. Bro, ungetaka gari gani by the time you graduate? By the time you are 28.
For a start, nataka Subaru Forester.
Na by the time you are what age?
Ikuwa 24 years now.
Na 28 to that? Range Rover. Hata usiendelee chini. Sasa, nani anafanya kazi ya mathematics sana? Kucha bro. Patie bike. Deno amewapea kitu wote, kila mtu. Deno, umeona mimi sibani kazi. So, bro, nataka tufanye hesabu. Na by the way, you guys, tunaongea kama jokes. But I want you to take this point to home. Tumesema Range Rover, andika hapa. Range Rover ikiwa imetumika tuandike 7 million, andika hapa. Ploti, wachana na Kilimani kwanza hata Westlands. Hapana huko bado. Tuende kwanza Ruto, tukienda hivyo Kaburu. Because there, Ruto area, a plot of an acre in a good place is 5 to 7 million. So weka 7 million. So plus 7. Tuko 14 million. Mshahara yako, you are still saving 50,000, that's 600,000. So divide 14 million, divide by 50,000. No, divide by 600,000. $23.3. Kuna kitu tunaitaka economics, holding all other factors constant. We are assuming you are still a young man. We are assuming your expenditure is not going up, and we are assuming many things. So you graduate mostly at 24 years. Is that correct? So at 24 years, umegraduate leo, umepata kazi kesho. So at that rate, you'll be able to save 14 million in 23 years and 3.3. So 23 years and 4 months. Okay, so already you graduated at 24. My brother, you are already 48. You should be retiring, not being ambitious already. So, kaini chini. Nyinyi watu werevu, sitaendelea. I mean, that point is home. If you choose to be those things that you want to be, it will never happen when you are in employment. In employment, you are just one of the bolts. You are one of the parameters. You are only one of the instruments. Set your ambition first to make the ambition of employer first come true. But people ask, wewe sasa unataka tuanze biashara gani na hii maneno yako? Business is based on interest. There are as many businesses as there are interests. The business you want to do may not be necessarily the mutuba I was selling. And nowadays there is a lot of imagination and ingenuity that become businesses later. So it is now your business to figure out what kind of business. I may not do that for you today. But the point I want you to carry home is that for you to be wealthy and truly wealthy, you will not become wealthy when you are an employee of anyone, including an employee of government. Two things before I close. I keep repeating this because I think it is important. Mimi napenda kusoma sana. And I implore upon you guys, reading is very good. It makes you become versatile kwa akili. Versatility also gravitates towards your character also and personality. So books actually change your personality. Books change character because they change your world view of things. When you don't read, only what you know. And what you know is very limited. Reading compacts a lot of knowledge, generational knowledge. Just imagine you are reading a book, like I like reading the ancient Chinese. There is a lot of wisdom. Reading about Aristotle, reading about Xenophon, reading about all those books of Socrates. And you realize, by the way, when you read those books, maybe this generation, we are not as intelligent as the previous generations. When you read those books, you just realize we have some catch up to do as this generation. So what am I trying to do? When in the course of reading, because me, I napenda biashara sana. Even reading a Forbes magazine can just change my mood of the day. In fact, when I feel niko na mood ambayo si approachable sana, I just get a business or an economic magazine. My mood changes. All of us here, there are people in the health sector. When you read about health, your mood changes because you are fish in the ocean. So when I'm reading those magazines, in the world that we want to create, there is something systematic. Out of all the people in the top 20 Forbes list, ile ina list mtu akona pesa sana duniani up to the 20th. They are already in like 4 sectors. Number 1, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. Currently, Bernard Arnault, number 1. 2, Elon Musk, Tech, Tesla, PayPal, also founded PayPal. Ile mnalipwa mkifanya academic writing, kuna vile mnalipwa na PayPal. The founder was Elon Musk. Ukihesabu with no certain order, Facebook is there, Oracle is there, Larry Page. Google. Oracle is there. Then, along the way you see Zara. Along the way around number 15 there about, I'm mentioning companies, not individuals. Zara is a company. Along the way, then you see another fashion house from France. You also see El Oriel. I don't know whether that's a correct pronunciation. So all the others are tech. The other ones are fashion and luxuries. What does that tell you? Figure out. Tech is the industry of the current. Do you know something? Many of us know Trump is very rich. The amount of money Mark Zuckerberg loses in 1 or 3 hours when there are variations in the New York Stock Exchange is the entire wealth of Donald Trump, who has a lot of houses. You can see Trump Tower and the rest. I have a lot of respect for him, by the way. I'm just using it as an example. Real estate, when you go to the US, real estate in Kenya, those are industries of the past. And that is why even the government is bringing the housing project, so that we unlock the capital of entrepreneurs from I own a flat. Let Kenyans start saying, I own an industry, I own a company. But the other thing, sasa hii ya mwenye biashara, when you are doing business, that's why you see Bernard Arnault is there, Zara people are there, El Oriel are there. Why are they there? Why not an industrialist, especially in those developed countries? When you are making money, you make more money when you craft a business where the practices are not rational. The time you will be able to crack an interest in business and you start a business where your customers are not rational, when you are engaging, you must become rich. Let me paraphrase. Most of us will go into business of milling. Why? Uga, kila mtu anakula uga. But everyone is milling. So, you are competing in terms of prices when you are doing normal basic things. You get rich back on thin margins and volumes. But the people, and I'm using folks as an empirical evidence, the people who are there, including number 1 richest person in the world, target all of us by what? Ostentatious purchases. What is that? When I'm buying, I am actually don't know what I am buying. I have gone, I have money in the pocket, I am buying. What are you buying? A watch. What, how much? 14 million shillings. 14 million shillings? Yes. What am I buying? Let me ask you guys, when I buy a watch of 14 million, what am I buying? Is it time? Am I buying any time? No, when let's assume I'm wearing a watch of 20 million shillings. What am I wearing? What have I bought? Is it time? Will I, out of the 24 hours in a day, because I have an expensive watch, will my day have 25 hours? I want you to see this. When I buy a ring or a necklace, zinavaliangwa hivi, a bling bling, divai moja ya milioni 5, divai hapa hivi, ni nini hiyo na mama? I want you to look inward. What is it? Just now start thinking, what is this I'm wearing? So when I went to buy, what did I buy? Yani huyu mtu ananiuzia akiniangalia na nimwambie nimesoma, mimi ni mtu iko sawa. What am I bought? So between me and the seller, nani anatumia akili yake mzuri? The businesses that will make you rich very fast are businesses where you target the elasticity of demand is so low. People are not influenced by prices. So Zara is a bag. When you are a lady and you have money, you want to have a Zara bag, you want to have a Louis Vuitton bag. When you buy a Louis Vuitton bag worth 350,000, does it come with money inside? Does it have a money printing machine inside? Maybe that's why you buy it that much. And let me ask you, When you are walking in the streets of Nairobi, wearing a watch of 500 shillings, and another one wearing a 10,000, a 4 million watch, can a Kenyan even differentiate? So those people now, they target a person who wants to feel good. Feeling good has no price. Feeling good has no price. I just want to feel special. So you wear a watch, Rolex watch, 10,000. So it's only me and the person who sold me who actually know the worth of that watch. So when I'm walking around, I feel airy, very nice. Only me who knows my brother. My other brother will buy a watch in Nairobi street, in a kayaku bado. It's the same in terms of appearance. Something called value in use versus value in exchange. When you target a business that has got more value in exchange, you must become rich most likely. When you target a business in terms of value in use, what is value in use? Right now I'm going to Marsabit. When we go and land in Chalbi Desert, and we are there for 5 days, and I see a young man coming with a bottle of water and the same size piece of gold, pure. Again. Chalbi Desert for 1 week. I am there for a whole week. I see a young man coming. In fact, all around is only the young man I can see. I can't see anything other than sand. He comes with a bottle of water, which I have not taken for 5 days. And the same man comes with gold, the same size. What am I likely to pick? What am I likely to pick? It's water. Why? At that moment, I don't even care about the price of gold. I care more about the dust that I'm already experiencing. So the water there has more value in use. But what has more value in exchange in that kind of a transaction? It's definitely gold. So a person who targets value in use, by the way, sometimes I sit down and I try najiuliza maswali. Wakati tunanunua gold, nini hiyo tunanunua? Kwa nini si clay? Ni kamati gani ilikaa chini bahari wakasema gold is more expensive than clay which is found in my own village? Na walipewa na nani ruhusa ya kusema gold ndio inafaa ikuwe ya bei kali kuliko ile? It is the same analogy. Value in use versus value in exchange. Tech. I don't know what we are going to do about tech, but empirically I have shown the 20 richest people in the world, over 70% are in tech. How you use that information, I may not help because all of us have varied interests. Lastly, many times, young people, if I say here, now, from the heart, mtu akitaka kuwa, let me combine an MCA, governor, a MCA, MP, senator, governor, or even the bigger seats. Niseme mwenyewe mkono. Let me just say, mtu akitaka kuwa in leadership in the course of their lifetime. Dennis, please rise up, uangalie tu. Please, right there. Some are like, kuna mwenye naona simuoni anaamuka. My brother there. Do we sit down and ask ourselves, what is this? Can you imagine in a hall here in the MKU, and we never invited aspirants, we invited comrades. So, the sample is representative. This sample, 80% of the people want to become leaders. Why? I'll say two things. You know, when you call me to speak, I'm speaking my opinion. So, if you look at the US, let me use US. China also. If you look at countries that have or are turning young, rich people, Wall Street, finance, but where? Leave that there. Compare with this one. We are in this hall. The median age of this hall is around 27. For the audience is around 23. Doesn't it bother us that all the people in this hall want to become what? That is the word I was looking for. I don't want to say it because who is going to be there? There is one thing that we have to do as African countries. The issue of obsession with politics is based on one thing, my opinion. A young person in the US is aiming to go to Wall Street, start a business. Within a few years, he is a millionaire, he is a billionaire. Why? Opportunities are there, the market is there, there is a level playing ground. People appreciate ingenuity, entrepreneurship is appreciated. That is the thing I want us to have as a clarion call. For Kenya to change, Kenya is not going to be changed by leaders. Kenya is going to be changed by entrepreneurs, economically speaking. The leader can only do policies. After policies, when I do a good policy about agriculture, I cannot go and do agriculture as a leader. I am doing it for the people. When we are doing policies around finance, around tech, it is not me as a leader who should benefit. The benefit is for the people. We must make this attractive. In Africa, if I tell you to be very honest, the people who have wamenua mkono juu, why do you want to become a politician? Besides serving the people, because all of us, you especially have your personal ambitions, you'll tell me you find it as a very easy route. You know for what? Because in Africa you are able to extract political rent, and therefore being a politician becomes one of the factors of production. This has to come to an end. Because when there are other things other than the mainstream factors of production, you distort incentives. The reason why a Professor Gachagua started on Kenya University is not for you to come and learn. It is for you to make money. You learning here in Mount Kenya University is an intended consequence. The person, there is a hotel which was called December Hotel here. I was being told maybe the name was changed. The owner of December Hotel, do you think they wake up in the morning to feed people? They wake up in the morning to make profits. Out of making profit, you also get lunch in December Hotel. You getting lunch in December Hotel is an unintended consequence. The real consequence was to make money. We have to detribe. We have to remove from our mind, as Africa, as Kenya, as a continent, we have to remove our mind this issue of seeing wealthy people as enemies of society, because by then we are diminishing entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship helps the economy more than politics. And there is an example I like citing all the time, Nigeria. I read a lot about Nigeria, because if there are real black entrepreneurs in the African continent, you'll get them in Lagos. Aliko Dagote Group, Absuhamad Rabiu. Please, those who have interest in business, you can know those names. You go read them in Google. BUA Group. The banks in Nigeria, the ones you see big ones, Access Bank is owned by Nigerians. Zenith Bank is owned by Nigerians. The one you see on CNN being advertised. United Bank of Africa, Tony Elumelu, who is a former CEO. The kind of people you see, black Africans who are billionaires. I think to me, I enjoy reading about Nigerians more. And there is one analogy I want us to draw from it. How, myself, I advocate, even for government literally helping entrepreneurs. Literally. If the government was to use government money to support entrepreneurs, as chairman of budget, if I'm told to do that, I would allocate that money tomorrow. Why am I saying so? South Korea, it was not grown, or it never grew out of. Yes, there were policies, but the real people who grew it are the owners of Samsung, the owners of Hyundai, and the rest. By being supported by government. But then we come to Nigeria as I close. An analogy that I think we should adopt, so that when we come to such a gathering next, and there is 3 politicians and there are business people, when politicians are given a chance to speak, we must also start giving entrepreneurs a chance to speak. Why am I saying so? To look at the journey of Aliko Dangote. In his early years, he was a trader. He was literally in the Nyamakima of Kenya. Absona Drabiu was literally in the Kirinyaga Road of Kenya. They were importers, they were traders. They went to importing rice, importing cement, importing other things. Where can you come? After importing, government, of course, it was idea to talk group policies. But they stopped importing, they built factories in Nigeria. Dakota Cement, PUA Group, and the rest are able to handle part to a large extent the demand for cement in Nigeria, cement made in Nigeria. So they stopped importing that cement, they built factories that then manufacture cement. But this is the point I want us to arrive at. And I use Dangote and PUA Group. After Dangote built the cement factory, it became one of the most profitable businesses in Africa, by the way. Cement prices in Nigeria has among the highest margins in the world. But this is the point I want us to arrive at. When Dangote makes profit out of cement, please go with me slowly. When PUA Group chairman makes profit out of PUA cement and all the other industries, including the agricultural value chains where they have businesses, what happens? Dangote then starts the biggest refinery of all in Africa. It is now starting operations. What is the point I'm making? Dangote has more than 12 billion Kenya shillings, 12 billion US dollar in worth. How much money is that? How much money is that? 12 times 135. How many trillions are those? Can somebody do for me? 12 times 135 is how much? How much? 1620. It is 16 trillion. Dangote is worth 16 trillion. Our GDP in Kenya is 18 trillion. What is the point I'm driving home? Looking at me because I want you to capture this point. And Dennis, I'll be requesting the president, even when we are giving presidential commendations, we must start focusing on entrepreneurs. What is the point I'm driving home? The lazy, the banal thinking is to say, Dangote is rich, he's proud, he's arrogant. That is very easy to say. Why? We have positioned entrepreneurship in Africa and successful entrepreneurs like they make money out of taking advantage of others. I have a different view. When Dakota makes profits, he starts the biggest refinery in Africa. Then, Nigeria stops exporting crude and importing finished products of oil. Nigeria starts exporting products finished in Africa. Who gets the benefit? It is the people employed in Dagote refinery, Dagote cement, and all the other factories. Who else? It is government. They stabilize the forex. They are able to tax more people because more people have jobs. So let me ask you, the profit Dagote makes and ultimately invests in a refinery, is that his money really, or is it public money? Just think about it. Other than being the owner, and it is written on the CR12 that he is the owner, who actually gets the benefits of the refinery that Dagote is building? Who gets? Is it him? How much money can he spend in a day? He can't even spend maybe $1 million shillings every day. Even living the kind of life that is so expensive. So all these other money, is it his money really? Is it his money? He can only spend in one room, on one bed. To give him a coffee, Robert brother. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. We were actually waiting for you to conclude. Thank you very much. So, the reason why entrepreneurship must be promoted is that it does not serve the interests of the business person per se. That is what we must remove from our mind. The university here called Mount Kenya University, the owner has enough money from other businesses. If he closes Mount Kenya University, is it he who loses or the comrades? If the companies in Kenya manufacturing cement were to close, because the owners have enough to go to Bahamas, to go wherever, they close off their companies, they say we don't want because we have money. If Monkey of Equity and all the other bankers close their banks and say we have enough money for ourselves, and they go to some to Dubai, others to wherever, other destinations, are they the ones losing or Kenya? That is the kind of analogy we must continue to cultivate. We must continue to elevate entrepreneurship. It creates value not just for the business person, but for the economy and the larger population at large. Very lastly, because I've seen all of you are aspiring politicians, all. When I said you raise your hands, all of you raised. We must keep thinking about why do we want to become leaders? Why? When you want to fight for an MCA, why are you fighting? Do you actually even know what an MCA does? To start with. When you want to become an MP, is it because you saw there is an MP speaking on TV somewhere? Why do you want to become an MP? Why do you want to become a governor? Why do you want to become a senator or any other position? Our politics, and I said it in Tongo University, must be based on ideologies. Africa has many leaders who are coming up. You saw in Senegal the other day, a young man got elected. Is he learned? Yes, he's learned. Very learned. He has a master's degree. But that's not the point. When we are a young leadership, and especially in Africa, why do we want to become leaders? Do we spend time just thinking? Comrades, when is the last time you sat down to just think about your ambitions, and then why are you ambitious in that field? Why are you pursuing that line? So, what is the point that I'm driving home? Our politics must be based on ideologies. When we talk about EFF in South Africa, before we support, before we say this or that, ideology must be the basis. when we talk about Bobby Wine in Uganda, and we wish all these young leaders all the best, but we must keep on refining our ideologies that will make our economies thrive, ideologies that promote free market, ideologies that have their basis on the private sector as the most efficient way of allocating resources. And I'm saying that because it is usually very easy to galvanize people around ideologies that are very impractical. It is very easy for a politician to say, we are coming and giving everyone money every end of the month. But that is not the work of government. The government should just make a way for people to make their money. So it is very easy to come up with an ideology that will galvanize people. As leaders, our goal must not be to win an election. Our goal must be how to govern. And how to govern is from our next year's seat to any other seat, because it is through out of that decision making that governance helps. Winning an election is easy. You can do good speeches, you can promise anything. We must be focused on starting on what would change our countries and then domicile our ideologies around those ideas. With those many remarks, I thank you very much. May God bless you.
Tunaongeza makofi tafadhali, mheshimiwa, before you leave.